My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This is your girl, Yannick Taylor, aka Priestess, hostess of Conversations with the Priestess. Here's a preview of what you may hear on Conversations with the Priestess.
We weren't meant for monogamy, let's be honest. Like, we have needs, let's be real. And communicating that, what you want, what you don't want, what sets up. Now, this drink is brown, because I learned something. Since I'm older, I can't do brown liquor anymore. Also, I noticed since I started on hormone replacement therapy, HRT, in 2015, me and certain liquors don't mix well. I don't know whether...
And I recognize that a lot of men love to be dominated by women. And that's because men are seen as these leaders, as this big alpha male dominant being. And because they're put on this pedestal of being leaders, sometimes they want to be submissive.
Back when I cosplayed a Butch Queen in South Carolina around 2011, I was on Craigslist. This is when Craigslist was bumping and before they had gotten rid of the personal section.
I hope you enjoyed that preview. Join me on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. for Priestess After Dark. Full video versions of the podcast can be found on patreon.com/CWT Priestess, and join me on Fridays at noon for our regular Friday post. Live, love, and be free. Smooches.
Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, anywhere you download and stream podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, few beers, and Carta.
Few beers?
Yep.
Just a few?
Just a few.
Just a few beers?
Just a few beers with some old frat buddies.
Yep, that sounds like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a good thing.
I also randomly collect rocks. And I say they're from the Berlin Wall. They're not really from the Berlin Wall, but I'd say they are.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
I collect ones and I say they're from the moon. I tried to say that one was like from one of the gaseous planets, and then somebody had told me there was no rocks there, and I was like, oh shit, what the hell? But
wow.
Yeah. So, I used to forge on these moon rocks. I used to forge Buzz Aldrin's signature on them. I just didn't know how to spell Aldrin, so it was kind of weird. Yeah. So today we are venturing down the road of a very special episode territory again with a episode of the Nickelodeon live action comedy series Hey Dude. Show originally ran from July 14th, 1989 to August 30th, 1991, but it had 5 seasons within that time. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, only 65 episodes, half-hour episodes. It was one of the first live action, like Nickelodeon sitcoms, that kind of paved the way for the future of Dan Schneider. Wait, no, he had nothing to do with this show, but, with this, we also had around the same time you had Salute Your Shorts as well. So, and the show was like, when I was a kid, I watched every episode of it when they came out. I would just be all excited about this because I had no life. And no, probably had more of a life when I was a kid than I do now. So the show, this episode was entitled Melody's Brother. The Internet Movie Database synopsis just says, Melody's brother visits the ranch. Melody learns her brother has an alcohol problem. This was directed by Frederick King Keller, written by Judy Spencer, Graham Yost, and D. LeDuc. It stars David Brisbin as Mr. Ernst, Kelly Brown as Brad, which is a girl, Jonathan Galkin as Jake, Christine Taylor, the future Mrs. Ben Stiller, as Melody, Joe Torres as Danny, Josh Tygiel, Tygiel, would that be right? Tygiel, maybe, as Buddy, yeah, and Keith Grumet as the guest star as Melody's brother Billy. Yeah. So, what were your initial thoughts here, Sesame?
It was okay. I wasn't really that thrilled with it, but it was decent.
Yeah, I'll agree. I mean, it's not one of my favorite Hey Dude episodes. Hey Dude, you got to say it like that.
You got to say it really low. Hey
dude. That's how the beginning of the theme song starts. Because like this is one of the weird eras where David Lasher left the show. He was replaced by Jonathan Galkin as Jake. It's a different character, but he was replaced, and then David Lasher came back because he was starring in another show for like primetime television, and they couldn't be on the show for a little bit. So it was kind of a weird chemistry going on there where I don't know if everybody gelled right away, but I mean, I do think it's nothing against Jonathan. I think he's a good actor and he kind of stuck around a little bit. So it worked out, but it's just a little different. They went through a couple changes with guys and stuff on the show, but it wasn't like a major like cast change, like something like, like Saved by the Bell in the New Class or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what goes down in this episode here, down on the ranch here?
On the Dude Ranch. We have like two plots, like an A plot and a B plot going on. And so it begins with, I'm not sure, is it Jake? He's like the older dude? Is that
the owner?
The guy who's doing the plumbing stuff. What's his name?
Oh, that's Mr. Ernst.
Oh yeah, sorry, Mr. Ernst. So he's trying to fix the plumbing in some of the rooms, and his son Buddy wants to help out, and he's saying that he's read up on all the stuff and he wants to help his dad, but his dad's stubborn about it, and he kept calling him Buddy, and I didn't realize that was his name. So I kept thinking that he was calling him Buddy, and it was like constantly I'm like, okay, we get it, like you don't have to keep calling him Buddy, but then I realized all right, I'm like, okay, fine.
I'm gonna have a kid and just name him Pal.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, do you have to keep calling him that? Like, so it's always like,
friend.
Yeah, friend. There you go. It's like, okay, I get it. It's kind of weird that you keep calling him friend, but all right. It's like, and he's like, he wants Buddy to be his helper bee when he's like the main worker bee or something. I don't know. He just wants him to hand him the tools that he needs to do the plumbing job, but he calls the tools doohickeys instead of actually saying the name of the tools. So Buddy doesn't really know what he's talking about. So then it's like, okay.
And the thing with this show is like Mr. Ernst and Buddy were like city guys that moved to the west and bought this dude ranch and run it as a resort or whatever. So, they don't know anything about how to do a lot of this shit. So
right. It's just kind of like, learn as you go. And so that's like one of the plots is that, water squirts everywhere, of course, because he doesn't know what he's doing. So he's getting like basically like sewage water spraying all over his. I'm sure that's not very healthy for the branch. Okay, no matter. And then with the B, well, not the B plot. That's like that is the B plot. The A plot.
The next episode, Buddy died of typhoid. It was really weird.
Yes. But that was a cut scene. So that's the B plot. I don't know. They're actually kind of, I would say they're equal plots. I wouldn't even say it's an A and B plot. They're both A plots.
And they slightly intertwine here and there, but yeah.
Yeah. And so the other A plot is Melody's older brother, who was supposed to be 21 years old, and he looks like he's maybe 32, and shows up on his break from college or something. I don't know. People sometimes it's people sometimes look older than they are. Sometimes they look younger than they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew a guy. I think it was in early college or even late high school who was balding. So it's it happens. Like and
it does.
And my brother started getting gray hair when he was like 15. So
yeah,
and with Steve Martin, same issue. So he started getting white. Not the skin color. He's already white. But I mean, his hair started going white.
And he became white.
It's like Trump said. He just became. No one knew, and then he suddenly became white. It's interesting, though, because you see, he was a black comedian at first, and then there's a lot of prejudice going on, and that's so the Jerk is actually a biography of him. It's not.
He was raised as a poor black man.
yes. So that's actually a document. Anyway, he stars himself in the movie. And anyway, so wow, that was a weird tangent. But Melody's brother, I forgot his name. What's his name? David, something like that.
Billy.
That's right, Billy. He shows up and he gives his sister a rock that he claims is from the Berlin Wall. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not.
Well, at that time, because it was shortly after the Berlin Wall fell, you could buy rocks, like a piece of the Berlin Wall legitimately, and then I'm sure there were people scamming people selling them as well.
Right.
So it could go either way. I'm leaning towards maybe it was a real one, So yeah.
Yeah, because maybe he hopped around Europe like a lot of college students who had money, good or whatever.
They shipped a bunch of them to the United States too. I remember back then, there were stores that sold them. Like I think you could get like a piece of the Berlin Wall, like at the Hallmark store or something. Stupid like that.
It's insane. I mean, that's cool, but that's like, oh yeah, the Berlin Wall was bad, man. Oh god, I read a whole book about East Germany, and it like scarred me for life of like how they treated people, man. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But like how they would literally shoot people trying to flee. Oh man, yeah. Anyway, and so sorry, that was like a downer right there. And so he's like,
you can go on Amazon right now, just letting you know.
Oh really? And you can still buy.
For what's it look like? 1995, you can get a authentic, real piece of the Berlin Wall with certificate of authenticity.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yep. So,
and who certifies it? Like where?
I don't know.
I mean, I could just claim something is certified. I mean,
it's a piece of German history, and it's like some stuff written in German. So it's legit because it's written in German.
I bet you it's gibberish German. Probably just means like Paul is dead or something like that. I don't know. Or like,
you can get some on eBay as well.
Wow,
the wall. Some of them on there are like expensive, like $119.95 on eBay for a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Those ones are the real ones because they cost
because they're more expensive.
Exactly. Yep. See, you gotta always know that if it's.
Oh boy.
So yeah, Billy's kind of like a goofball, sort of. He loves his younger sister. They hang out. Well, they're supposed to hang out, but then immediately he says that he made some plans to go hang out with some of his old frat buddies to go get some beers. A few beers is what he said. And she's like, "Oh, really? You just got here? I thought we'd hang out or whatever." And he's like, "Oh, I know. I'll stay tomorrow. We'll hang out."
Like, I thought you'd be working all day, but she was like, "Oh, I traded with Brad," and it's like, "Oh,
right, yeah."
He's
like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I won't make any more plans for the rest of the week. We'll just hang out all week, or whatever." Like, okay, fine. And so then he comes back, and he's all like completely like wasted. Like he apparently fell down and cut his knee real bad, and his jeans were torn.
He doesn't remember doing it.
No,
and also when he got there too, he had this backpack that was full of bottles of booze. We find out later, but he didn't want anybody to take this backpack. He was fine with everybody taking the rest of his luggage, but not that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really secretive. It's like, I'll check that. It's like, okay, it's your dead giveaway right there.
Yeah.
Like when you start acting all weird about shit like that, like excuse me, that's what it's about. And so I don't know, just the way he was acting though was just like, I don't know, like were you getting the vibe? Maybe it's just me, but were you getting the vibe that like the actor was like kind of like treating his sister like that she wasn't like his sister, or that just like almost like somewhat flirtatious? Like I don't know, like
I didn't get that vibe, but I don't know.
it's just the way sometimes, like the way I don't know, like the way he was talking. That's I don't know. I'd have to go watch it again because I only watched it once. But like I don't know, because like we've covered some movies.
I wasn't getting a like the way Trump treats his daughter vibe or anything.
That's good. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's very good actually. I don't know. Maybe it was just maybe I was reading because I know we've covered some things before where the actors like were not really acting in their roles very well, and so we're kind of like, so I don't know, maybe not, but and so yeah, he's all torn up. He's got a gash in his. He's like, oh yeah, I must have fell down. Don't remember. How do you not? She's like, how do you not remember falling down and then cutting yourself, and then he couldn't get the key in his door. They made a whole big thing about that for like 2 straight minutes. I'm like, okay, I get it. Someone's drunk, but you tell them after 2 minutes they can't get the key in the door. Like, no one's that drunk. Like you have to be blackout drunk at that point.
And he wasn't like Tom Hanks on Family Ties funny drunk either. So
no, that's the thing. He was just kind of like a somewhat boring drunk. Like there was like not even like he wasn't even an angry drunk necessarily. He was more of just like a slightly irritated drunk. That's pretty much it. Like anyway, what else happens?
So like after that, like he goes in and he's like he gets in his place and he just wants to like lay down, and then but then like right after he's laying down and Melody's trying to try to cover for him because she keeps telling him, I don't want you to be like Dad, because their dad was an alcoholic, and telling like right then Mr. Ernst and Buddy come by because they need to fix the plumbing in that room for some reason. It just happens to be, and then he's like, well, I can work around, and like, because she's like, oh, he's taking a nap, and and all this stuff, and he comes out, and and then at one point they're helping him move out of there. Was this then when the bottle broke? And and then they convinced that he was bringing it as a gift for his uncle or something.
Well, Melody covered for him and said that.
Yeah. So, we find out that he's got like, a bunch of hooch in his bag, and I just wanted to say hooch in his bag. I don't know why.
I like that. Like bunch of that's a good phrase. Bunch of hooch in his bag. That sounds like a weird saying. Like, got a bunch of hooch.
You got a bunch of hooch in your bag there, don't you?
Yes. I think you just invented the new phrase. Or a new saying.
It almost sounds like I'm coming on to somebody, though. It's like, hey, you got a bunch of hooch in your bag there.
Right. Yeah, it could be that too.
It would sound like that, but
yeah.
So he so she's trying to stop things. Then what happens after that? I'm trying to remember. So I watched it earlier today, and I've worked since then, so I forgot.
You forgot because you took a bunch of hooch out of your bag, and now you're...
Well, yeah, every day at work I got a bunch of hooch in my bag, and I don't really work. I just drink all the hooch in my bag. Oh wait, no. No, I don't. I don't even drink. So yeah.
No, that's really good that you don't. Yeah. It's not great. You basically, Melody confronts him, and he's just kind of in denial. He's like, oh no, I'm just, it's just a few beers. I'm under a lot of pressure, the typical excuses that, someone who has a substance abuse problem says, that there's a lot of stress or, under a lot of pressure, etc.
Yeah. And he was dating a girl, and she, I guess, broke up with him. And at first he said that she fell in love with somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
It turned out that she just couldn't handle him drinking all that time and stuff too.
Right.
We find out later. Yeah.
Well, it's just like one of those things where it's like, if you're not also like doing the same thing that like the other person is doing, then it's just like you're like almost like you're just with like a random person. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I had a friend, who got like really into drugs for a while, and for a while we didn't really hang out. And it wasn't because like I was mad at him or anything like that. It was just because like I'm just like, what are we gonna do together? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's just like one of those things where it's like, that just takes over your life sometimes, if you're not careful. And then like all the hobbies, and the other things of your life that, were a part of your life either just kind of go to the wayside or just completely, disappear altogether,
Yeah, I mean, like I used to,
So
I used to have a friend who was a serial killer, and when he started doing that, I decided, hey, I really can't hang out with you anymore, dude. And wait, no, that's different.
once you stop the killings, then we can.
And we get, it's like, though the whole time, I was like, hey, you want to come over and watch Lord of the Rings or something? And he's just like, nah, I got to go kill a girl tonight.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy. Wait, you say your name? No, I'm just calling you buddy.
Yeah, I'm just going to call you buddy from now on. I don't want to be associated with you.
So that's the C plot. Buddy becomes a serial killer.
Yeah.
And so then there's that. There's also a B plot. Well, I guess maybe it's part of the A plot. I don't know, where Buddy wants to move in with some of the older guys because he
can be independent.
Yeah, he thinks his dad's treating him too much like a kid, even though he's like 13 or 12. So whatever, like, and they're like,
that's the time that a boy comes of age. He has his bar mitzvah and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're Jewish or not, but
I don't know either. But I'm just saying.
I just think it's interesting how every community has like their own like age, like where someone becomes like a man or a woman. So like Judaism is 13, but like this is in Mexico, the Quinceañera, that's 15, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's interesting that like, of course, that's way. I mean, God, I would not consider a 13-year-old a quote man or woman, especially in today's society. You kidding me? Like at that point, there's still
I wouldn't consider a 15-year-old either.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like that's like a thing of like the way past, and like you die at the age of 30.
Quinceañera once when I was a teen.
What's that? So
me and my buddies crashed a Quinceañera when we were kids, and this is totally legit.
Wow.
We used to work out at this baseball stadium that had like rental halls associated, next to it, and sometimes during the games when like they would have like events next door, like a wedding reception or a Quinceañera, and we crashed one, and I got a couple girls' phone numbers and stuff.
Jesus Christ!
I was like 16 at the time, so it was like,
that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. So I don't know. He's like 12 or 13, but he's like, oh, my dad's treat me like a kid. I'm like, because you are. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Like, you are a kid. But he wants to move in with the older guys, and they're all like, no. We don't want some kid hanging around. But then later on, they're like, oh man, we should have let him live with us because like you just do whatever we asked him to do, like just do our chores and shit. And the one guy literally says, yeah, he could have been our live-in slave.
I know.
Like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, come on, guys. And at one point too, because the
I
guy
think that was the Native American character too, not that
No, right, yeah. He's the one who said it, yeah.
Yeah, not that it makes it better or worse. I'm just saying it's
No, it doesn't. But like, and then of course, then at one point he's like, because like we're kind of jumping around here, but so Billy actually came into a room before he even went out with his friends. He's like, hey, you guys want to go grab a couple of beers?
That was the second time when he was going to go out with his friends again.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think. Oh no, that was before, wasn't it? It was before he went out with his friends. I don't know. I think he went out a couple times. I'm not sure though. But yeah.
I mean. Was he even with his friends? Were there even any friends at all? Or was it just him going alone and just drinking?
They were imaginary.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. If he's drinking that much, and then he could start having like hallucinations or false memories or whatever. So,
Yeah, we got So yeah, like eventually he ends up going. He tells he convinces Melody, like, I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. I stop right now. Basically, and she And at one point he says, I'm going to go in town to see a movie now, just to see a movie.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. I knew something bad was going to happen right when I saw that. I was like,
oh yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting what was going to happen is that he was going to go see like a really bad movie and then just be upset about that. But that didn't happen. What did happen?
And then that's what causes him to drink again is because he saw a really bad movie. He's like, God damn it! I spent $5 on this.
What was this, like 1990? Maybe he just didn't like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh man, I wish I had that booze in my bag, but it broke or whatever. So, yeah. So what happens after that? So yeah. So basically, he gets into like a minor car accident. No one got hurt. They have him like in the holding cell because they suspected. I'm not sure how suspected. Didn't they have breathalyzers test back then? I don't know. Whatever. And then or some way of testing if someone had been drinking or not at that point in time.
I think it's like suspected until a certain point, and I guess you have to say that.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, then again, this is like a really small town, so maybe they didn't have all the stuff that bigger towns do. So Melody doesn't want to go to bail him out because she's really mad at him for lying to her and for her covering for him all the time, and then he just goes and just drinks again, and it's like it's like part of it, like I mean, I know it's like a kid's show and stuff, but like one of the things I didn't like too much about it was how like she's like, oh, I always looked up to you, you were my hero. Every time things would go bad with Dad, you would always be there to comfort me and say everything's all right. And it's just like, yeah, and how do you think that affected him, that he always had to be the rock, no pun intended, in your relationship? And
Dwayne Johnson?
That's what's that?
Dwayne Johnson?
No, I'm like, well, the Berlin Wall. I don't know.
Well,
But
he was a piece of the Berlin Wall. No.
Well, I hear that a lot from people. Like, I mean, I've seen like there was almost like an exact moment in the TV show Intervention. I'm not sure if you've ever seen that, where it's like addicts of various stripes or whatever.
I may have seen an episode or so. I don't know. Yeah.
One of them was this guy who was like severe I mean like going through like 2 bottles of vodka a day type of real like very late stage addiction. And like their whole life story was like his dad died when he was like 15 or 16 years old, and for some reason he had to get a job and provide for his family, even though he had a mother who was not disabled, but no matter. But I hate that whole thing where it's just like oh, the husband died, so now the son has to go to work, but it's like, but you're an adult. Why can't you? No, okay, I'm not gonna get wrapped up in that. But to me, it seems like selfish and weird, but that's my opinion. But like, because regardless of your gender, you're the parent, you should be the one to, okay. And then so he, that's what he did, and then he ended up investing or starting a business, like doing like suntan stuff, like the stuff in the store where you go inside of a tanning salon or whatever. And he was, he's quite successful at that, and he made a lot of money. I mean, he gave most of it to his younger siblings, his mother, to pay for their lives essentially. But then he started drinking, and then he pretty much got addicted to it. And then like during like the Intervention series, when they start talking to him, they're like, oh, you were my hero and you did so much for us. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Like, you ever thought that like all of that trauma, all of that built up stuff is then what led him down that path? I'm not saying that, he's correct to do that, but like, there is a thing called cause and effect in this world, And so it's like, she was kind of like, I mean, it's not as serious as that, because obviously it's like a kid's show, but she was kind of like doing that. It's just like, yeah, exactly. You were the passive one in the relationship, and he was the one that was holding shit together, and without anyone else doing that for him. So he didn't have that same type of person that he could go to and be like, hey, I'm having a lot of problems, my dad's drinking a lot, whatever, And so like, I don't know, I just hate that when I see that in movies where it's just like, yeah, exactly. You were the privileged one in the relationship. Like you got to be just whatever you wanted to be, act however you wanted to act, and act out or whatever.
It also is in a lot of ways too what ends up happening with an older brother or sister, where they have to be the one to kind of be like the second mom or dad, in a way too.
And yeah, and it affects people, especially as they get older. It's like it's one of those like ticking time bomb things where it's like you don't really think about it until you wake up like in your 30s, or something like that, and you're just like, wow, that was really messed up or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. It's just like that kind of bothered me And then, but eventually he finally admits, that he's, got a problem and, he can't stop drinking, etc. He has to go, he lost his medical license or something. No, I wasn't really sure what he meant. His driver's license or medical license? I don't know
Driver's license, because he was going to medical school.
Okay.
He hadn't gotten a medical license yet. He was about to start medical school. So
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. I was trying to figure out, because the reason why I was wondering is because he's like, I'm going home. I have to tell Dad I lost my license. Like, why would you have to go tell your parent that you have your driver's license? Even if you don't live with them, I don't understand. Like, why that would be oh, hey, Mom and Dad, something really bad happened. I'm so sorry. I failed you so badly. They're like, what happened? I lost my driver's license. Like, okay. Like, anyway,
well, I think the main thing is because then it reveals that he's been drinking, and they probably didn't know, and they'll probably be disappointed in him for that,
But you need to tell him that though, because like, you know what I mean? Like, he could just fly in and visit and like not even drive a car. So it's like not even like.
But they might be wondering why he's not and everything. So plus he's got an honest relationship with his parents, and yeah.
I mean that's. I mean, yeah, okay, that's a good point. I don't know. It was like it was like a typical show, when they try to do like a serious topic, they can't obviously they can't go like him like getting blackout drunk and puking and getting into bar fights, shit like that.
So I was looking up a little bit more about the writers of this episode. One of the writers, Graham Yost, has had a very prolific career since then. He wrote the movie Speed.
Oh, wow.
He was the showrunner and developed for television and the producer of the TV show Justified. He was the executive producer of The Americans, the TV show.
Oh, wow. I love that show.
Yeah. He's executive producer of the new revival of Justified that came out. Executive producer of Slow Horses, Masters of the Air, Sneaky Pete, Falling Skies, The Pacific, the John Adams miniseries with he was a consulting producer on that. But as far as like writing goes, he wrote Speed, he wrote Broken Arrow.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hard Rain.
That's another good one.
He wrote some episodes of or an episode or more of From the Earth to the Moon. Band of Brothers, wrote the screenplay for Last Castle. He created the TV show Boomtown, which only lasted 2 seasons, and I loved back in the early 2000s. He's created a lot of stuff and a lot of TV shows and written a lot of things. And one of his first gigs was on Hey Dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Broken Arrow and The Hard Rain both starred Christian Slater. So that's kind of interesting.
Hard Rain starred, I think one of them starred Keanu.
Was it? I thought Hard Rain was Christian.
Maybe it was. Maybe they both starred him. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, I've had in the past, like, remembered like a different actor playing a part. Like my memory literally is false. I was just telling this to someone the other day while you're looking this up, if that's because I don't want dead air or whatever. Oh, dead air, you get it? Like Broken Arrow.
Slater was in that. Sorry, I was mistaken. You were right. I was mistaken. But he's in Hard Rain and in Broken Arrow. Yeah.
So it's interesting that like those movies came out like almost like back to back, like 1 year after, I think. And then I think Broken Arrow came out.
I mean, this guy was doing good. He had like Speed was like his first big movie in 94. Then 96 he had Broken Arrow. 97 they have Speed 2 credited to him, but only the characters, so he didn't write the screenplay. Right. Thank God for him.
Speed 2 wasn't that great.
We need to cover that sometime. And then Hard Rain and stuff. He had kind of like a little like I don't know, row of good films there. So anyways, I just found that interesting. Thought I'd share that. Any other thoughts about this episode?
I feel like I'm forgetting something. I mean, it probably doesn't matter, but
at the end, Buddy moves in with the guys.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah,
probably sets up something for the future episode or something,
where they're pretty much going to treat him as their quote living slave.
Yeah, they do it completely. They put like they chain him up and everything. It's really crazy.
Yeah, those episodes got completely canned. They're like, this is too much even for us. Like, but no, the Native American guy. There was one part where he's like, I knew someone like that who had a drinking problem. He's like just like that, like another Indian with a drinking problem. Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I think there is like an episode with something. There is an episode which I want to find. I want to go through this show, but that deals with his Native American background. I'm not 100% sure if the actor is actually Native American, so that's the other thing too. But
right, because that one movie we watched, I don't think he was even Native American. The guy, what was that? Cry Wilderness.
oh yeah, no, he wasn't.
But he played a Native American. I remember that one too. With the kids, like, you're just a dumb Indian. I'm like, oh god, like
that was a very racist movie. Anyway, that movie was so fucking weird, dude. Anyways, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode.
It's not like our special up because we did 2 this week, so
we're recording 2, so this will come out like weeks from now. But anyways, folks, do you have anything else to say here, Sesame?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, yeah, I don't really either. I mean, this was just kind of a bland episode. I mean, on a scale of like very special episodes that range from, as far as like alcoholic episodes go, this is nowhere near as good as the Family Ties episode.
Oh no, no, that one is. I mean, Tom Hanks is great in that one.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to this actor, but he's no Tom Hanks. And
nope.
But hope you enjoyed that. If you guys would like, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, or wherever the hell you can. It'll help us out a lot. Check out all2real2.com. It's a good place to find all the information about us. We have our links on there for our TeePublic and our Patreon. Those are good ways to help support the show. Give us a little coinage so we can keep bringing you all these great episodes.
I like that.
Some coinage. It's not as good as hooch in a bag, but it's a bag full of hooch or whatever it is. Yeah. So there's
hooch in a bag,
a bag full of hooch in a bag. They're my 2 new punk rock bands that I'm starting. I did decide that I wanted to start a band called Cis Weirdo because those are 2 words you, I guess, get flagged for on X now.
My God, I know that's so stupid.
I changed my name to Cis Weirdo, and but folks. Another thing that is really interesting that I just found out recently, and hopefully it's by the time this episode airs is still going on. If you check out Tubi, you can watch a movie that I directed and Sesame appears in called Pi Day Die Day. So yeah,
also did a lot of the music for that movie. Well,
yes, he did do a lot of it. He did do He did the opening music and other songs throughout. So yeah, I started watching a little bit of it last night. So yeah, check it out on Tubi. That's Pi Day Die Day. That's PI like 3.14. The mathematical term pi.
Yep.
Day Die Day.
Get it?
As in DIE, not like DI, like Princess Di or anything. Because that'd be weird.
Yeah.
Maybe I should make that movie. It's just a movie with Princess Di doing math.
That's
Anyways,
if
you're still with us, folks, just remember this these couple of things, I guess I should say, that I love you. The world is a vampire sent to drain. Just popped in my head, so I figured I'd share it with folks. Sesame loves you.
Yep.
Free Palestine. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.
The great visionary leader of India, Mahatma Gandhi, said, "It is health that is real wealth, and not pieces of gold and silver." Listen to the Healthy Grocer radio show on your favorite podcast platform. We know that health is our greatest wealth, and we will be discussing all aspects of natural healing. Explore everything from supplements, superfoods, and healthy lifestyle choices to help conquer stress and boost productivity. Top industry experts and natural health professionals join us for a deep dive into our healing journey. You can find the Healthy Grocer radio show on demand every day, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And remember, health is your greatest wealth.